Here's a couple harder lighting conditions, and I have the cameras and holding them by hand side by side. I have some backlighting here to show you how the cameras do, and then we'll see how quickly they change when I go outside.
All right, so I'm out here with my Bobcat Toolcat, so I'm going to throw this on a suction cup and just drive it. You know, it's kind of a bumpy machine. It does have a little bit of suspension, but we'll see how that smoothness works out.
Hey everyone, this is Nate, and this is the Nader Tater channel. I have a new toy here. I'll open up. This is a action cam, so like a GoPro competitor. Alright, so now obviously I have this little hobby YouTube channel on here, so I have several GoPros. I have 4 of them, I believe now, and I've mostly stuck with the GoPro brand. You know, I had an original GoPro even before the HD one, so I've kind of stuck with it, but they certainly are expensive. And so this one here is an XTU S3. They also make a X1. And I think the main difference between the S3 and the X1 is the S3 only does 30 frames per second, and the X1 will do 60 frames per second. But they're both 4K. They have, you know, the smoothness, you know, for shake and that kind of stuff. They are waterproof, you know, without the plastic case. They're waterproof down to like 16 feet, and then with the case is like 130 feet. Now, this is my first time opening this up. I'll see what it is, but what's interesting about it is it kind of reminds me back of the original days of GoPro, where you have the plastic case and you have more accessories with it. You know, what I'm filming on right now is a Hero9, and I got that thing in the mail, and it was basically the camera, and I think it had one plastic mount, and that was about it. I was like, man, where are all the accessories to this thing? So let's open this up. Let's see what they include here, and then what I'll do after I open it up is obviously we need to compare it to my GoPro. So I have a Hero 8 and a Hero 9. Those are kind of my main cameras I've been using in the past. I'm excited to try this one out, and so after I unbox it and set it up, I will show you maybe side by side of like the Hero 9 to this one in a couple different scenarios. You know, some of them would be like action shots, some of them would be ones that have a lot of vibration. We'll do kind of a field of view. You know, there's typically on GoPro there's like a linear, a wide, and maybe like a super wide angle view, and we'll see what else, other features. I know it has Wi-Fi, and you know, it has pictures, and you know, I mean, you know, a camera mode, and then also it has the battery. Now the battery capacity is smaller on this one. It's 1350. I think the Hero 9, I want to say, is like 1650 milliamp hours. So I'm curious to see if this has equal battery life. I'm not impressed with the battery life of the Hero 9. It does run out. So we'll compare some of these, and I'll walk you through it, as well as showing you footage at the end. Alright, so as you can see, there certainly are more goodies with this one than you get with just a standard GoPro pack. So these are little alcohol prep pads. I guess that's for putting down the mounts, you know, to clean the surface off. And obviously this one comes with several mounts. Let's see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like it has 4 mounts come included, including curved and flat ones. So that's nice. Here's a wristband, and this allows you to have a remote shutter and remote camera record. So that's kind of nice. You can have this on you, press that button, and then it will start recording for you. So that's a nice feature. I like that better than the app. You know, I have the GoPro app, and I know this one has an app too. The problem is it's always so cumbersome to get my phone out and get it connected to the camera that I never actually do that. So if this watch, I assume it's Bluetooth, and if that's the case, it would be quick and easy just to press that. So I might actually use that, even though it might not be the most stylish. All right, so here's obviously a case with foam all around it. I'm not sure what that is for. I'll maybe have to read up on that one. You know, if it's some kind of windsock. But you know, back what I was saying about the olden days of GoPro, this has that clear plastic case that you know, aids in the waterproofness. But so let's pop this guy out of here. To give you a reference, so here is my Hero 8, and here is this camera. So you can see they're very similar in size. You know, they're not interchangeable by any means. But you know, of note is on the bottom of the GoPros is obviously their standard GoPro, you know, 2-prong mount, whereas this one has the standard camera mount on the bottom of it, which is that threaded, I forget what it is, if it's a 1/4 inch or whatnot thread. Okay, so let's get this guy out. I probably need to charge him up. But let's see what else they have in here in this pack. So we have one screw adapter, so short one. We have a long mount. I'll open these up for you guys so you can see them. So it's just a standard GoPro. So that's the other benefit, you know, I like about this is that I can obviously use all of my mounts interchangeable with these cameras. And then so I assume somewhere in here is an adapter to go from, there it is, from the standard threaded fitting back down to the standard GoPro fitting. So this is something you could screw into the bottom of this camera, and then you would use any of your standard mounts thereafter. Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, it allows you to, that's actually a nice feature. This allows you to rotate this, which you can never typically do with the GoPro stuff. It's always, you know, a fun game of origami to get them to fit, and that's where actually with my GoPro stuff I have this ball mount that will help. So I'll include links to some of these products I bought in the video description if you guys are interested in looking at them and buying them yourself. But so that's another interesting note, is obviously the attachment is offset from the camera. All the GoPro stuff is right dead center. This one is offset. I don't see that as a problem per se, but if you were for sure doing something where you had a setup and you're always used to GoPro, this would change your lens location. Alright, so then it has just a couple of these standard, you know, clip-on mounts, some of them that are offset, some of them that are low profile that come on the case itself. And then this is kind of a interesting feature. I'll compare the mic quality of these two side by side, but then it does also come with an external mic with a little windsock on it. And so this is a micro USB, and that's one thing that I was annoyed with on the Hero 8 and 9 is, in order to be able to have an external plug-in for like a USB or a microphone port, I had to buy the Media Mod kits or the little adapter. Let's see where I have it, right here. So my Hero 8, I have this contraption which uses the USB port, and then that's how I get my microphone and external USB port. This has that port available right from the get-go. Okay, and then the last thing they have here is a couple foam pads with, this looks like a cleaning kit, and then also a securing kit. So it has like a little wire strap, I assume to secure the camera in case you know, your mount fails. And then it has a handlebar mount. So this looks like more for a bicycle size mount. That can go around a handlebar, so I might use that. This is a new little ATV I just got for the 2-year-old, and so I'm going to put this on there and get some video of her. So I'll probably use this to put that on there potentially. And then last here, other than the power cable, some Velcro straps. So I'll have to look in to see what exactly these are intended to be used for from a Velcro strap standpoint. All right, so the alcohol pad I was a little bit wrong on. That's actually for these tiny, oh, there goes one. They actually have a couple little screen protectors. These are very thin screen protectors, and they just go around top of the lens. And so before you do that, you obviously want to clean up the lens so that it's clean and dust proof, so you don't trap any dust underneath there. So I'm going to go ahead and put one on, and it looks like it still fits in the plastic case after you do that. So I'm just going to alcohol wipe it and then use this special towel, and then I'm just trying to look in the reflection to make sure that I get all the dust off. And what they have to get the final bit of dust off is this dust absorber, which is a fancy term for a sticker. So you put the sticker on top of it and pull the sticker off, and then it's all clean. I'm going to try to see if I can actually save this if I want to replace it in the future. And this guide sticker, not exactly sure. Okay. So we peel off this layer, and then that's going to expose the sticky part. And this guide sticker here, we will go to the opposite side. That gives us something to help position this. Okay, so that's on there now. Now I have a little screen protector. Now I'll go through a couple of the settings here. Now it does not come with an SD card, so I had to put one in. And then this one has 3 buttons versus most GoPros having 2. So the power button's on the side, and then you have a mode button and a shutter button. So the mode button, you can obviously select your different camera stuff. It does some other things too, like if you press and hold it, it turns on and off this front screen. So far I haven't seen I don't think there's a way to actually have the front screen and the back screen on, which is maybe a little bit of a downside, but it is very quick to turn it on and off. The other thing I do like about it is you can tell it to give you the full image of that's being captured on here. And so as you can see, I get a 16:9 picture, even though it is a 4:3 screen. I don't think there's a way on the Hero 9 to actually do that. So you always have the sides of your field of view cut off. So this one, that's annoying to me. I rather have the full field of view, and so that's a nice feature I like about this one. You can do that. Alright, and then so in here obviously you have your camera, and it has a couple preset ones for photo and video, as far as time lapse or burst or long exposure, as well as slow motion, underwater. And these are all just like shortcuts, right? Once you click on one of these, then you can change it. And they also have like for car traffic cam, well, I'm trying to think, a dash cam, thank you. where it does the looping, where it will delete the old files. So under normal video, if you wanted to change it from that 4K 30, you can click on that, and then you can adjust all these settings as far as sound, their smoothness, anti-shake. It's called this gyro EIS, so you can turn that on and off. Let's see. Yeah, and then you can change the codec, you can change, you know, exposure, shutter, or ISO, all that kind of stuff, the scene, sharpness. So a lot of these things you can change. The one thing I did not see is actually changing the field of view. That seems to be a constant, kind of like the old GoPros used to be. Other than when you go into the smoothness, it shrinks down that field of view, so it can do the smoothing of the camera. It has a zoom mode, but obviously that's just digital. So you know, I don't think I'd ever use that, because I would just post-process any kind of filming I wanted to do. If you took video, you can click on, which obviously I didn't take any, so let me go ahead and take some video real fast. So you can see it's recording, it's telling you how much time you have left. Let me go ahead and stop that. I don't even know what the microphone button does. Nothing. Okay. Alright, but so if I click the gallery, then I can go through here and play it. Okay, and then you have your overall settings here, where you can say when you start it up, what does it do, when does it go to sleep, your Wi-Fi, obviously turn it on and off, your video format, frequency, voice volume. This is where that subs to the front screen. You can do full display or the default. The default zooms it in and cuts off the left and right side of it. LEDs, inversions, date stamp. Oh, the remote control. Obviously, if I want to use that, turn that on. The grid lines, date, time. Alright. So, I think what I need to do is I need to set up the app on my phone and show you guys what that can do. Alright, so let me get the XTU app so I can connect to the camera with my smartphone. So we will install that. Alright, so now we're opening up that app. I'm going to give it access. Alright, so now I probably should turn this camera on. And then I pull down from the top, similar to GoPros, and then I just tap the Wi-Fi button, so I said okay. Yep, so it tells me what to do. So that far left one is the Wi-Fi, and then it gives me the SSID. Alright, so the password is just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Of course, phones don't like it if you don't have internet. Let's see what it was telling me. Okay, so it's just running. Alright, so now I gotta hit the back button to get back to the app. Okay, so enter the camera. So there we go, we can see what it's looking at. And here's my hand in front of it. Now, let's see what else we got here. So these are your different modes for photo and video. So basically all the same settings that you see. You know, and depending on your preference, this might be easier or harder. Certainly if you have this mounted somewhere, you know, outside a vehicle or in a hard to reach space, then obviously using your phone is much easier. But it doesn't look like there's any other extra settings that I can see in here. Now the one thing that, let's see, yeah, okay. So one thing I do want to try is the actual playback of the video clips. Okay, so here's a couple harder lighting conditions. Okay, so that's one advantage, I'll say. The one thing that I found, and I was trying to make sure there wasn't a volume knob somewhere, is on this XTU, the speaker is very hard to hear. So when you do a playback, it's very quiet. And even the beeps on it are much quieter than the GoPro. The GoPros are actually very loud. And when you play back the sound on the GoPro, it's loud. So that's one disadvantage I've seen to this guy right away, is when I play it back. Now obviously that's not a huge deal, but with a phone, at least on the playback, you can increase the volume to hear it. Alright, so now I have both cameras side by side, and obviously they're just stationary on my desk, so we're not testing any of the, either change of exposure or anti-shake stuff. So this is just giving you an A to B of sound and video quality, and then of note is the field of view. So the XTU is just in its standard field of view, which I think is 166 degrees or so, that they claim. And then the GoPro right now, I have it in the wide setting with no shake on either of them, because obviously the smoothness or anti-shake stuff, it crops out the video some, so they have room to make the video stable. So that GoPro Hero9 has a linear, a wide, and a super wide, as well as like the leveling stuff. But basically those three field of views, and this is the wide one, so not super wide. So the GoPro can go a little bit wider, and then it can also go narrower, whereas this XTU is sticking at this this field of view here. Now, I will say I have the Hero9 media mod on, and I'm using that media mod front camera. So let me turn off that media mod camera and just use the internal GoPro microphone. Okay, so this is just the standard GoPro Hero9 camera microphone, no external, no media mod. And this is also the XTU S3, just standard sound, no change there. Okay, so this is just using the standard XTU camera, but I plugged in the external microphone that they provide you. Now that goes into a micro USB port on the side. There is no standard microphone port, and I haven't looked to see if there's an accessory. I'm sure you can buy an aftermarket accessory perhaps that gives you a standard 3.5 millimeter microphone port, but this is just the microphone that they include with the camera. Now you have to have the side door open in order to use that, so that negates any kind of waterproofing, but this would be the sound quality if you wanted to do a vlog or something and use this, because really the built-in microphone is not good enough to do any kind of vlogging by itself. So at least with the included external mic, this is what it sounds like. Here's a couple harder lighting conditions, and I have the cameras and holding them by hand side by side, but hopefully they're fairly close. If they're a little bit crooked, that's why it's just me. But I have some backlighting here to show you how the cameras do, and then we'll see how quickly they change when I go outside. Obviously this is a big change in lighting, going right into the sun, and then getting some backlighting here just to see how the cameras compare. And again, I'm using the
same just camera mic on both the XTU and the GoPro.
Alright, so this does have voice command as well, and I did test them out. I was actually pretty impressed. It did work every time I told it to start recording or end. I think actually close recording is the command to stop it. So that works well, and that actually the GoPro has that too. I've never used it before, but I was actually pretty impressed with how easy that was to use. In addition to the voice commands, the camera itself, and the smartphone control method, they also give you a wristband, and that just has a shutter button for the photos, and then a record button for the video, and that works as well. You do turn on, I think it must be Bluetooth. There's a little toggle to turn on that watch, but then you just press the button and it starts and stops it. So lots of ways to command the camera, which is nice.
All right, so I'm out here with my Bobcat Toolcat, so I'm going to throw this on a suction cup and just drive it. It's kind of a bumpy machine. It does have a little bit of suspension, but we'll see how that smoothness works out.
Now with my GoPros, I have the media mods, or I have a aftermarket external case on my Hero 8, and so that aftermarket one has a little GoPro cable that comes off of it that gives me my USB port on the outside, and then the same thing for this media mod on this Hero 9. It has a USB port on the back side, so I never have to take them out of the case or take them off the mount. If I have them like hooked up to a suction cup or something, I can just bring that in, put it in, and plug in the cable. One downside to this XTU mount is, with it being over here in the corner, and I have this adapter to get to the standard GoPro type accessories, I can't open either of the doors. So the battery door with the SD card, or this side door with the USB and HDMI ports. So I have to take it off the mount, which obviously isn't hard, but it's just another thing that's a little bit cumbersome, so that I can press these guys down and take off the flip that up, because the problem is obviously it has to slide down in order to release and pick up. So you can't take that one off, and then this one as well gets stuck because it's underneath the mount. It'll hit it. So that's one downside to it, but overall, the camera is very similar to GoPro in the form factor, where you can place it, and from that standpoint, I like it.